Well, greetings to you. I thought I'll start a bit early today because it seems like there will be a thunderstorm sometime this evening. And when that happens, everything is interrupted. So because it's important for me to be here, I have to make sure that I beat the weather and to avoid any interruptions. Today is Thursday, which means we just have until Monday. We have until Monday. Every moment counts. Every opportunity is valuable towards what we all would like to see happen. Thank you, Ann H. But I'm here all the time. I guess you've lost track. You've lost track of the online traffic. I'm here. It is on Facebook that I'm blocked. Both my pages are blocked on Facebook, so of course you would not see me on Facebook. I've started another one. Kenneth Warner. I have to get all these names so that Facebook's algorithm would not recognize me to block me again. But it's Kenneth Warner. If you see it in the groups, you can go ahead and like it and follow that page also. But it's Kenneth Warner. It has as a profile picture the Guyana flag. It doesn't have my picture. The Guyana flag is a profile picture. That's on the Facebook that I created yesterday. Kenneth Warner. So, all right, welcome Trinidad. You have a great prime minister there, Kamala, a lovely lady. She's a blessing. Strength of women in the Caribbean, one of the best. One of the best. I wish the Barbados prime minister can be as patriotic to CARICOM as the Trinidad prime minister, because they're both women. I know for certain that the new president of Suriname, Miss Jennifer Simmons, she will be as patriotic as Kamala Prasad. I just wish that the black lady follows. And speaking of that, what you see here is what you get. I talk how I talk. I articulate how I articulate. I present how I present. Those of you who know me from years ago, you would understand that I've been consistent with my personality. I don't switch to accommodate. I say it as it is. So don't think that this is a new, no, I'm always this way. This is my personality. And to help you, a lot of you, to understand, it is not a consequence to me whether you believe, you support, or you subscribe to astrology, astronomy, or the zodiac. It's of no consequence to me. I don't care what you believe in. I'm a subscriber, a contributor to astrology, astronomy. Your whole calendar system is astrology. Your days of the week is astrology. Your month of the year is astrology. Everything about you and your environment, the clock on the wall, the watch, your GPS system is astrology. So whether your religion, which is Christianity, don't allow you to subscribe or believe in it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It means that everything about you is astrology. Let's get that out of the way. Having said that, I'm Cancerian, 6 to 9, July born, the sign 6 to 9. If you don't understand what 6 to 9 means as a sign, it means when you're performing the act of sex, he is doing you and you're doing him. 6 to 9. Upside it down. If you know Cancerian people, July born, and you've had experiences with them, you'll understand. If I can give you a few notable figures, personalities around the world, prominent personalities, that is actually and has been making waves and controversial and has shaken things up, let me help you. Of recent, Elon Musk. You know Elon Musk, right? Everybody knows who Elon Musk is. He shook up the whole system in America. Until Trump became so afraid of the guy, he had to hey. Elon Musk is Cancerian. Should I go on? Nelson Mandela, Cancerian. And your favorite, Mike Tyson, Cancerian. The war president, the man that literally reshaped the Middle East, George Bush, Cancerian. You see, Cancerian people don't leave any stone unturned. We go all the way to the problem. And we deal with the problem, not the symptoms. So if a Cancerian person, a real typical Cancerian person, needs to tell you something, they will tell you the best way suitable to them, not you. That's how Cancer people are. And we hate wearing clothes. We like to cuss. And we are always angry. There you get it. And we are the best at what we do. There you get it. So, stop telling me that I shouldn't use profanity. I'm a Cancer. That's what we do. We cuss. Oh, by the way, didn't Donald Trump cuss the other day? Didn't he say they don't know what the fuck they're doing? What is that? Isn't that cuss? I say fuck, he say fuck, we all say fuck. So what? So what? Good. And dealing with the scrapes in Guyana, dealing with Azruddin Mohammed and his boss, Aubrey Norton, that's the best you can do. That's all they understand. The language of the ghetto, that's what they understand. Aubrey Norton is never sober. So you can't talk intelligence to him. Azruddin Mohammed is never innocent. So you have to treat him the way you treat criminals. Talk to him the way you talk to criminals. And I'm talking to him, Norton and his employee, Azruddin Mohammed. Yes, Aubrey Norton is his boss. The Win Party was established as a side hustle for Aubrey Norton, not the PNC, Aubrey Norton. The Win Party was a side hustle, or is a side hustle for Aubrey Norton. You know, he has his main job, the PNC, and he realized he can earn some extra money by creating this sham, this illusion, this farce of a political party. And he's the one advising Mohammed. He's the one who is sending his people to help the Mohammed camp. Aubrey Norton. The people who left Norton, they were aware of this. But because they are afraid of the backlash that Norton has secrets for them, including this Brooms and Walton, this Amanza lady, they're all aware of that. All of them are aware that Win, or Azruddin Mohammed, who was the financier, the sponsor of the PNC programs and projects, and you know, when they need to give something out, they are aware of the fact that Azruddin Mohammed and Aubrey Norton, well, not Azruddin Mohammed and Aubrey Norton. Aubrey Norton's is the one behind Win. He is the one behind Win, not Mohammed. Yes. So the people in the Win campaign are the same people who just changed shirts that are in the APNU campaign. All they do is just take off the shirts. When it's for Win, they put on the blue. Then they put on the green. But Azruddin Mohammed is employed without pay by Aubrey Norton for the Win Party. Aubrey Norton needed a challenge to get and steal voters from the PPP. There was nobody else that he could use that would sign up for that stuff, because Guyanese are waking up. They're waking up. And he realized that the Indo-Guyanese of Guyana realized that no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not Kemraj Ramjatan and Moses Nagamutu. We are not going to do this anymore. We have seen what this president has done. We have seen how much he sacrificed. He literally, the Indo-Guyanese know that President Irfan Ali literally took the presidency when he was age 16. And in less than 5 years, he is 60, figuratively speaking. So they understand that for a man to go from 16 to 60 in 5 years, he took on a lot of burden. It is not easy for somebody to age that quick in a short space of time. So they saw the sacrifices that President Ali has made. We are all seeing it. Look at last night on the Irfan Ali River Bridge. Look at the president. My heart went out. I'm like, fuck, man. Why can Guyanese look at this man and sympathize with him? Don't empathize, sympathize. Because trust me, if I should say, I'll ask you to have empathy for the president, a lot of you would not want to be in his shoe. After seeing the sacrifices and the struggles that he experienced for the past 4+ years, you don't want to be in that shoe. You're happy as you are. So the most I can ask you to do is to Sympathize. Have some sympathy. Feel sorry for the man. Feel sorry for the man. Look at the president. I looked at that and I thought, but what else do we need, man? Seriously, what else do we need? You want the man to give his shirt? You want him to say, okay, you know what? Fine, Guyanese, I'm not going to accept any salary. I'll work for free. And you can take turns in cooking for me and my family, bringing food for me and my family every day. Is that what you want? When you pay attention to Ali on the bridge, it's like he's fighting to stand up. He's pulling energy from wherever just to push forward a smiling face. The man is exhausted. The man is exhausted physically. But his mind is beautiful. His mind is rich and active and youthful. Because when you hear him speak, he can summarize, not he can, he summarized the progress to come in just one sentence. And you understood it as if you read a whole book. That's the genius in President Ali. I saw it and I thought, despite the fact that he's physically drained, his mind is a genius. He remembered from day one. He remembers everybody's names, their telephone numbers, where they live, how tall they are, what's their weight, everything detailed the man remembers. That is because he is involved in his people, in the country, in every aspect of that society, and that is a leader. Vice President Jagdeo, you know I'm your number one fan, but Ali out President you. President Ali out President you. You can't go close to Ali Jagdeo. Politician wise, yeah, you're the best. Okay. We are not going to debate that. You are the best. But in terms of presidential performance, you can't go close to Ali. You're good, but Ali is better. When I listen to Ali there, and I'm like, wow, this young man is a damn. And I had ambitions to be president, not against this guy. If I was an opposition leader, if I was in the opposition, the way President Ali articulated himself on the bridge last night, the way he owned that reality, if I was an opposition candidate contesting the election, I would call Ali and say, hey, listen, how can we merge? I realize that it's a waste of my time going up against you. So let's just be friends. How can we work with this? And Ali would say to me, don't worry about it. Let's go through with the elections. We'll see how we can set things after that. But any person in their right mind, any candidate in their right mind who witnessed, spent some time, looked at Ali on the bridge, listened to him, you would hey, no, hell no, I ain't going up against this guy. Are you kidding me? This is the Mike Tyson of fucking politics in Guyana. The fight is in September 1st. This guy is as fit as hell. How do I compete with that? I can't compete with that. I'll just make a fool of myself. Look, I quit. I'm done. I'm out. Give them some medical reason why I can't go through with a fight. I'm done. That's a fact. And you know what thrilled me? When that low energy reporter from Capital News, that lady that needs to go on a diet. She wouldn't quit on the stupid questions. And because the president is blessed by God himself and he is always alert and chooses his words carefully, I was in agreement with this. Hey, why you guys are always focusing on negativity? You're trying to tie me up for me to say something negative? Haven't we all suffered negativity enough? I mean, it's always anticipating the bad. You have a great thing in front of you. You are the first, and I'm talking to that lady, Capital News lady. You are amongst the first Guyanese to stand on that mighty symbolism of progress and success and modernization and Guyana forward. One of the luckiest Guyanese to first stand there. And the best you could do is entertain stupid, negative questions to try to tie up a brilliant genius like Ali. How the fuck you people get to be journalists? Or are you also on the PNC side? You need to be more subtle about your negativity, so-called reporters. Be more subtle. But because they're not trained to think, despite the man talked about all the possibilities, he already covered that. She's still typical woman. Typical woman. Even when it comes to their jobs, they can't help being women. The man just said, I'm giving a scenario now. The man just said, honey, I checked the tires of the car. I checked everything. The mechanic okayed the car. The battery is good. I tanked the car. Everything is fine. All the documents are in place. I called the others and said, hey, she's on her way. All of that. All you have to do is just go sit in the car and drive. Okay. But how do you know that the tires are fully with air? Did you like check to see how much pounds of air is inside? Honey, I checked the car. I checked everything. The mechanic ran through the car and he certified that all you have to do is to sit and drive. Okay. Honey, did you start it to make sure that the batteries? Oh, fuck, man. I said I checked the fucking car. Just sit and drive and stop being negative. It's like that. The president continued to say, hey, all of these things has to be in place. They have to do their test. They have to do their check. They have to do their this. They have to do their that. They have to do all of that. And throughout the process of the construction of the bridge, internationally renowned engineers and experts have monitored from the beginning to this stage. Everything was checked. And indirectly, as president, I will also be driving on this bridge because I'm living in Lenora. So I have to cross this same bridge every day for the rest of my life. And still the idiot, what about the safety check? Oh, fuck, man, I just tell you. I just told you. Anyway, like I said, Norton and Wynn, they're partners. They're going to split the spoils. So while you have a situation where they may not get to form the government, if they secure enough votes to dominate the parliament, then we are fucked. We're screwed. So Aubrey Norton knows that he has lost credibility amongst the Afro-Guyanese, and he screened the Team Mohammed page a while back, and he realized that, hey, we have a lot of black people following this guy. And the fact that he have all these issues, and I know him personally, I can control him and get those blacks who may have sympathy for Ali to vote for Win instead, and get those poor, so-called poor Indo-Guyanese to vote for Win instead. Because a vote for Win is a vote for me. Either way, I still win. This is not something that is fabricated, dear Guyanese. You need to understand that Aubrey is in charge of the Win campaign. None of the people that Azruddin Mohammed associated with in the past, those thugs and those lowlife, none of them has any amount of anything to even write a note. The people who are scripting, advising this Azruddin guy, who are on his panel, they're all PNC for hire. This is why they are receiving salaries from Azruddin Mohammed. And Aubrey Norton gets a cut. They're paid actors. It's not real. Haven't you seen the one the other day, the Rasta one on this sweater show from the news source thing? She's a very poor actor, very poor performer. Maybe she's not being paid well. You can see that she's not in this thing at her heart. You see that she's doing it for the money. I mean, fine, the government salaries were like 200,000 basic. So if Azruddin is paying them $1 million or $2 million, they calculate, well, if they can sign a 3-month contract, that's $6 million. And the $6 million can last them what? 3 years? And then coming up to the next election, 2030, they can switch again and maybe run and beg the PPP. They have enough $6 million to last them a while. They're actors, paid actors. Everywhere they go, it's the PNC caucus in all the regions that are accommodating the Win party. They just take off the APNU shirt and they put on the Win shirt. Same people. If you can do a photo search, video search, identify the people in the Win campaign, run it through our AI program, you'll see the same people at Win and the same people at the APNU party. That's why the crowds are the same size. The same size. So what you have to worry about, my fellow Guyanese, is what they start doing now. What they start doing, they have walked out of the recent GCOM session, a very important meeting of GCOM. The PNC representatives walked out. That means they are making a statement that, hey, we have a problem with the elections on Monday. Secondly, the other PNC agent, offshoot party, Forward Guyana, despite the fact that her and Brooms, who said in their own words, they will not be contesting all regions, lack of resources, or nobody knows they exist. Now she's making an issue that GCOM may have discriminated against her in 3 regions, when she says her party will not be contesting all 10 regions. Her part, she said that. Go back and look when they submitted their list. Because they have no people, they have nobody. Nobody, no presidential, no vice presidential candidate, nothing, they have nothing. They just got to go there because they're receiving salaries to go there to split the votes. And their target is to make sure that they hold on to the blacks that has a problem with the PNC. They don't want those black people to go to the PPP. So in order to keep those blacks, those black women, under the order of Aubrey Norton, establish their parties to target those blacks who may have problems with the PNC, so they do not lose them to the PPP. Because if those parties don't exist, if Forward Guyana and the PL, the Brooms party doesn't exist, and if the Mohammed guy was locked up when he should have been locked up, then what you have? PNC versus PPP. That's what you have. And the PNC will not get any votes. All the votes will go to the PPP. So because of that possibility, they had to come up with a plan in order to keep those black votes that they have lost and they know they can't find from going back to the PPP. They do that by having this Forward Guyana woman and this Brooms woman. And after they would have pulled the votes from going to the PPP and think, okay, they secured their 30% black solid votes, now they have to find a way to get some of the PPP votes. And what's the best way to do that? Get a corrupt billionaire to start a party and target Indo-Guyanese. But so far, he is just doing what Forward Guyana and the other one has done. Target the blacks. The people who are following him are the same PNC people who are disgruntled about the PNC, and they're the ones who are hanging around the win party. There's no actual Indo-Guyanese that is dumb enough to go stand with Win. None. Those you see on TikTok and social media, they're not Indo-Guyanese. They're black people pretending to be Indo-Guyanese. There is no real Indo-Guyanese there. And the ones you might see in the crowd, they're not Indo-Guyanese. They look like Indo-Guyanese. They're wearing a wig. They have on a wig and a face mask. They're not Indo-Guyanese. They're the same hustlers like those from the ghetto. So be not dismayed. Be not dismayed. Christ is king. And because Christ is king, he will not allow Guyana to go back to the Bornham days. He won't do that. Now, what is fearful for me? Why I'm fearful of all of this? It is because while Christ is king and he looks over Guyana and her future, it doesn't mean that the devil would not infiltrate and appoint his people into the parliament of Guyana. And if the devil's people, and we're talking about Norton and Azruddin Mohammed, if Azruddin Mohammed gets into parliament and the people that are associated with him, who are all under the sanction, gets into the parliament, remember there is a war that's building up in Guyana's backyard. A war that can very well decide and reshape South America. Very well. And the country that will be directly impacted as a result of that war is Guyana. Directly, immediately impacted. Remember that Maduro though it is inaccurate, armed a lot of his citizens. When that conflict begins, those dumb Venezuelans who would fight for Maduro and who will cross the borders, they will come with a vengeance to target the Guyanese population, because Maduro is going to give them directives to go and destabilize Guyana, risk their death to do that. Because he can't take it out on America. He can't target America. The best place that Maduro can target is Guyana. So even though the Americans are going to finish him and get him, in the process, he will direct his mercenaries, his gang groups. You see, they kidnapped Guyanese again. See, they kidnapped Guyanese in Guyanese waters again. They start. And he's the man talking about peace and sovereignty and CARICOM this. Look, they start to provoke Guyana again. That the gangs under him are kidnapping Guyanese. They start. So when these armed Venezuelans, who again, they have nothing to lose, they're the suicide bombers of Maduro, when they enter and cross and start to terrorize Guyanese, who is that going to affect? Guyanese. The economy will be shut down. The Americans would have to put troops on the ground in Guyana. They would have to put troops on the ground in Guyana. We already have a lot of Venezuelans there blending in the society. How do we know a lot of them are not Maduro spies waiting, sleepers waiting for a conflict to start, then for them to take the arms they already have and target Guyanese? Guyanese can't hide, because Guyanese largely are blacks, Indo, Amerindian, Chinese, and so on. So you can tell that these are Guyanese, the way they speak. It's easy to target Guyanese in Guyana. But while that is happening, the country will come under a lockdown. A lockdown. You think COVID fucked us up? Let that conflict begin. And who do you think is going to back it? Who do you think would sit back and allow it to happen? The friends of Maduro, Aubrey Norton, and Maduro's identified agent, Azruddin Mohammed. So while you would allow them to get into government, and this war starts, and the chaos starts, it is possible for Azruddin to use these Venezuelan militants and create a coup against Irfan Ali government. Remember, the PNC will not help. So if there is a coup, because the billionaire criminal man used the Venezuelan militants to overpower, because there are many. The Guyanese discipline services together is what, like 10,000? Give them 15,000. 15,000. If you have 50,000 armed Venezuelan militants crossing the border when the chaos begins, and by the direction of the Guyanese leader Azruddin Mohammed. When I say Guyanese leader, I'm talking about the man who leads the Venezuelan gangs in Guyana. By direction of him, they go and they overpower the police, overpower the military, and then go and make a move on the government. A coup. The ghetto of Guyana, the thugs, is going to stand with the Venezuelan criminals. They're going to stand with them. And they're going to seize the country. making himself president. He wouldn't make Aubrey Norton president. He's going to make himself president. And Aubrey Norton is going to slime and become vice president and try to explain it away. I want to paint a picture for you, my fellow Guyanese. When that happens, what do you think follows? What do you think follows? Look at African countries. Look at Haiti. Look at Venezuela. When Maduro is taken, the Americans get him. And Azruddin allow the Venezuelan criminals to take over the country, seize whoever property they want, take whatever business they want, as long as he gets to be president. You think he's going to make a nice deal with the Americans and say, hey, okay, good, listen. I understand. You give me your support, I'll give you access to the oil, but just make sure I stay here. You think that's what he's going to do? You think that's how low the Americans are? To compromise and say, well, it's not our country, he's giving us the oil, so let's just let Guyana handle their internal problems and we'll just deal with no, they won't do that. They want Azruddin Mohammed. They are going to sanction Guyana worse than they sanctioned Venezuela and Haiti. They're not going to go in and remove Azruddin from the coup. No, they're going to sanction the country. They want the people to remove him. And because there will be massive fear, there will be massive fear in Guyana because the criminal gangs of Venezuela would outnumber the police, more guns than the military. The average Guyanese are not going to fight. They're not going to rise up and say, hey, let's fight for our country. No, they're going to consider their lives. We are no match for these people. We have no weapons. Then Azruddin is going to control the country by these gangs. The police would just be a sham to keep the average Guyanese in place. And he already said he has the police, so they're just going to flip and say, well, we got to work with whichever president is there and just support the president because that's your constitutional duty as a police officer or a soldier. Yeah, that's what they will say. And might I remind you, they're also black. And PNC largely control the average, or think they control the average Afro-Guyanese. That is the scenario that you're dealing with here. The Americans and the West are going to pull out. Oh no. Oil in like sex. That you don't want to pull out. No, pussy is sweeter. So doesn't matter how much she bitches you during sex. Even if she tells you, oh my gosh, honey, 10 years ago I fucked that guy, you're not going to pull out and say, what? No, you're going to finish coming. Then you'll pull out. You're going to get that juice. But in the sanction case, the Americans were like, hey, no, we are going to pull out. Let them deal with their issues. So when the Americans sanctioned Guyana because of the coup that will be coming, and Azruddin will be president, where does that leave the 800,000 actual Guyanese citizens? No oil revenue, no business from nowhere, no foreign investment. People will not be able to send money to relatives in Guyana. That will be blocked. The banks will have to leave. The foreign companies will have to go. There'll be nothing. No export, no import. What you'll do, eat each other, cannibalize yourself, because in a few years, you won't have elections. Same playbook like Venezuela, Azruddin will use because they're his advisors. That's why his father went to see them. They get tips from that. They'll continue their drugs and their smuggling and their smuggling of gold and drugs or whatever to earn their money. You, the average Guyanese, would be fucked. I'm telling you the possibilities. And if you understand geopolitics, you look at world history, look at all the countries where this has happened. Pay attention. Look what's happening to them. That's why you have a refugee crisis. And you can't go from Guyana to America by boat or Europe. Not possible. So it's not a case that you can jump on a boat and 200 of you and just sail to America. They already clamped down on illegal immigration. You can't get there. Most countries have. And the fact that CARICOM hates Guyanese, except for Trinidad, you can't go to the CARICOM Islands, the Caribbean islands. You can't. You're stuck in Guyana with a leader like Azruddin, and you will starve to death. That's the movie I want you to picture in your mind. Because that is what will happen. All that you see now playing out, any day now, this thing is going to start with Maduro. Donald Trump will get Maduro. They have said it. Okay? The FBI, the Homeland Security, they have said it. They would not stop until Maduro is in America, on American soil, in American jails for life. They said it. You think the man is bluffing? Never in American history, no government, not Obama, not Biden. Trump is the only one who in his first said, I will get these criminals. If he was reelected in 2020, he would have gotten, Maduro would have been a lost cause. And Trump is not there a year yet. And the job has started. Beginning of the end of Maduro. They are going to liberate Venezuela. They are going to liberate Latin America from all of the drug lords, the smugglers, the illegal businessmen. They will get all of them. That is what they said they will do, and they're going to do it. Why would they sail those expensive, massive warships, 4,000 Marines, all the way to the Caribbean seas? For what? Just for show? Do you know how much it costs for such an expedition? They do it for show. No, they didn't do it for show. The job has to be finished. They're going to finish the job. That's why they're here. That's why they crossed. That's why the Trinidadian Prime Minister made sure that she put herself on the right side of history. Curacao, the two countries that are closest, Curacao and Trinidad, say, hey, we are in this with you. They want to be on the right side of history to say that, look, we have suffered. And it was Curacao that the gold smuggling, the drug smuggling, that is where from Guyana, via Suriname, they get to Curacao and infiltrated the American market, the Western market, France, affecting those countries with their fentanyl and their drugs and their cocaine. So they want an end to it. It's damaging their countries. They want an end to it. So this is the opportunity, and they're standing beside Donald Trump and the American military to bring an end to this. They don't want it. Look at Trinidad. Look at how that place is devastated with Venezuelan gangs, murder every day, ghettos, robbery, rape every day. Don't you think they want that to end? They want it to end. So they're going to stand with the initiative and the movement to end it. But you have to start from the source. The source is Venezuela. Kill the source and you cut the tree down. The root is Maduro. Get rid of the root and then everything else is will crumble with it. They want that to happen. And the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, made commitment to join the fight, to send troops to help. Why would all these countries get involved? Because the chaos, the problems is affecting them. France is getting involved. The West is getting involved because they want it to end. These Europeans, these white people don't want that on their soil. You think they want that? Drugs killing their people, destroying their economies, destroying their societies. They don't want these gangs, these murderous gangs. They want them dead. They want them. Look at what they're doing to Guyana. Look at the neighborhoods that you live. Look at what these gangs are doing. Where are they getting the guns from? Venezuela. Are they shooting your sons and daughters with it? Of course. You're telling me the guns that these men are using to murder these women, they're going and renting it from the police force? They're going and buying it from the gun shops? No, they're not. All the guns that they confiscated are unmarked, without serial numbers. Venezuelan guns. So the people who are murdering in Guyana, they didn't go to Venezuela, cross the borders, buy the gun, come back to Guyana. No. The guns were smuggled from Venezuela into the Guyanese society. And it reached the city. Easy access. They have the know-how. They have this guy who knows a guy, who knows a guy, who knows another guy. That's how they get the guns. They use it, they murder people, they give it back to whoever they get it from. Untraceable. That's what the French, the Trinidadian, the Americans, the Curacao people, that's what they want to end. They want to stop it. So they're encouraging, they're standing with America to fuck up Maduro. Get rid of him and his government. End it. So that all the chaos, all the murder, all the rape, all the drugs will end. I want to see it happen. You, the average Guyanese, you need to stand up and stand for your security. How can you look at a president like Irfan Ali? It's hard to recognize him as a president when he's amongst the people. He blends in with them. It's hard. But because he has a recognizable face and voice, you know, okay, that's the president. Otherwise to that, he's like everybody else, normal like everybody else. How can you have an issue with that? That peaceful, law-abiding man that has made us so proud, that his intelligence, his policies, and his cabinet has caused Guyana's passport to gain such value in such short time, that have magnified that country, beautified that country. And before you know it, the value of the Guyana dollar, instead of 20,000, it will be 2 to 1, 2 Guyana dollar to 1 US dollar. Very soon. How can you look at all of that? And the fact that he has a second chance, and somehow you pull out from your wherever it is to give yourself a reason to even listen to the filth that's coming out of this potentially dangerous man, not potential, this dangerous man, Azruddin Mohammed, that can cause sanction on that entire country. You share his post, you comment on his post, You convince yourself that you're going to put an X on that idiot? You are fucking ungrateful. Any Guyanese who can give yourself a reason to have such hatred for your country that you would risk Guyana being sanctioned just because you want to think that you're cool, you're posting thing about win, and you ungrateful set of people. But I'm happy that it's just a few. But that few is all it takes to give that fool a place in the parliament, which can start the sanctioning process. A known criminal mastermind. The man's father walked into the embassy, the Venezuelan embassy. This is why I said if you had closed the embassy of Venezuela, then he would have nowhere to go. He would actually have to physically go to Venezuela. Shut the embassy down. You're the government, you can do anything. Why do we have a consulate in Venezuela? Why do we have an embassy or a consulate in Venezuela? For what? What? I mean, the Guyanese population there needs help. The only help they need is transportation to get back to Guyana. They just come back. Just move back to Guyana. What are you doing there? Why do you need an embassy there? Close it down. Minister Todd, shut down the embassy of Venezuela in Guyana, and the one in Venezuela for Guyana, shut it down. You don't need it. Have embassies in countries that uphold the law, that are democratic countries, countries that are not sanctioned, countries that are a part of the United Nations in a supportive position. Those countries you have embassies with or in. What the fuck you need diplomatic ties with Venezuela? Venezuelan days are numbered under Maduro. When a new president is installed and that president obeys the law, runs the country in a civilized manner and democratic, then you can rethink having an office and see how things goes. But don't associate yourself with these criminal governments. And I've also called for the tagging set up. I'm not saying you should let them stay out, but you need to tag all the refugees from Venezuela. Tag them. I ain't talking ID card, I'm talking put a chip in them so you can monitor their activities. It should have been done before. And if the opposition knows that, they can't use these people to commit their crimes for them. But it's not too late. In the second term, if you are accepting refugees from other countries, you have to chip them. Put an implant so you can monitor their activities. You can know where they are. You can know what they do. It's easy to find them if they commit crimes. That's what you need to do. Don't just open your borders and accept people like that for nothing. And do what the Americans do. Get the best. Don't bring the lowlifes and the losers and the criminals and the gang members. Don't bring them. Shut them out. Don't let them come into Guyana. You don't need them. They have a lot of smart people there. Let the smart one come. The smart one come. Let them come in the country. This nonsense about fucking elections. This is the playbook they're using. They want to cancel Monday's election. The PNC wants to cancel Monday election. That's why they walked out. That's why they walked out of the meeting with GCOM. That's one. And two, that's why this woman is fighting, this Forward Guyana woman that has no significance. She's like the nerd in the class that nobody recognizes or wants to sit next to. Yeah, she's like the northern class. She wants attention. So they want the elections on Monday to be called off. They know they can't win. They know they will not get enough seats in the parliament. They're trying all of these strategies. So they want the judge to tell GCOM to halt the elections. You see why they're not campaigning that much? They know this is their plan. They're not campaigning that much because they know that they will pressure the system leading up to elections, even call for protests. Don't be surprised if between now and Monday you don't see protests on the road. Don't be surprised. Calling for the elections to be canceled. Don't be surprised if it didn't start. Because if the judges do not rule in favor of the PNC, because Forward Guyana is PNC, then what's the next move? They're going to withdraw from the elections. And if they withdraw from the elections, the opposition parties would see an opportunity and say, hey, we're going to withdraw too. Let the PPP alone go ahead. And they're going to tell their people to stay home. So if the PPP alone go out on Monday to vote, they're going to do what they did in 2020. It's an illegitimate president, illegitimate this. So they don't recognize the election, they don't recognize this, and it gives them the ammunition to go out and protest and target people and murder and loot. And yes, they want the elections to be canceled. They were already talking that it was too early. The president should have planned it in November. It was too early, too soon. People didn't get a time to get this, get that. They were already talking about that, remember? So since all the propaganda, since all the things didn't work, now they're going to use another means. Take it to the courts. Say that, you know, GCOM has discriminated. GCOM has this. How could GCOM have a problem with the PNC party's helpers, Forward Guyana? How could GCOM be controlled by the government and the same GCOM allowed WIN to contest? If the government of Guyana, if Irfan Ali and President and Vice President Jagdeo, if they were in control of GCOM, do you think Azruddin Mohammed and WIN would ever been accepted? Do you think? No, never. The fact that GCOM, against most of the right-minded people, approved of Azruddin Mohammed and WIN to contest the election, to be on the ballot, it meant that GCOM is independent. There is no political interferences there. So for you to now twist it to think that GCOM has a problem with Amanza Walton party because it's a threat to the PPP, how the fuck would that be a threat to the PPP? Nobody talks about, I'm the only one who talks about Amanza. I don't know why. I really don't. I'm the only one. Nobody else talks about her. People spend more time talking about the sanctioned man who can get the country in trouble than this Forward Guyana. So she is a threat to no one. Not even Aubrey Norton. So the thing that the position that GCOM took regarding the printed ballot boxes, it is based on the list of candidates that you submitted. You're not contesting all 10 regions. You're not. You said it. Hence, your list reflected what your decision was. So now you want the whole elections to be cancelled because you're not in the ballot for three counties. But this is not about you, Amanza Walton. This is about the PNC's agenda to destabilize the country because they know that with WIN, with you, with Brooms, They still can't secure 20 seats. They know that. So when they looked at the data, the real data, not the fake polls from Starbuck News, not the fake polls from the Azruddin Mohammed's AI generated poll. Does he even know what the polls mean? What polls mean, what the word means? Does he even know that? Does he know that? Can somebody say if he knows that? They're talking about polls. Despite all those fake polls, the people of Guyana made a statement that, hey, we want that same bearded guy. And we're going to make sure that the next 5 years he get enough rest so he can at least grow some black hair. Let Ali's beard get black again. Let Ali's beard get black again. The Guyanese want to see the man, reverse aging. We want to see that. Should I tell you a secret? You see why I don't think I want to get into government? Minister, yeah, but as president? Because I'm older than Ali. Yes. I'm not younger than the guy, I'm older than the guy. That's the secret. That's why I don't want to be president. No. Hell no. But it will be fun for me as Minister of Home Affairs to clean the ghetto. That will be fun. I will be happy doing it. I will be happy keeping Guyana safe from those internal criminals. I would have personally gone to Venezuela and put some bitch slap on Maduro. Yes, I would slap his ass out of that seat that he's occupying that doesn't belong to him. As Minister of Home Affairs, I would say to the president, hey man, no, you chill. I'll go take care of that asshole. I'll go myself and take care of him. Let his fucking gangs come and deal with me. Yes, I would have strapped myself, put on my nice police uniform, just get my old black squad, black coasting, my gun here, my vest and and I would lead the squad into the ghetto and sweep out all those fucking roaches as Minister of Home Affairs. I will do that. Yes, you can call me directly, 911. Minister, yes, we have, okay, good, I'm coming. That would be fun for me. But president, the stuff I see Ali is experiencing, the stress that they're putting that man through, the fact that he has to call people 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. when he should be sleeping, he is up worrying and stressing. I don't want that responsibility. I don't even think Jack Dio wants that. Ali is the only one who seemed to enjoy growing old fast. So give it to him. Give him another 5 years. And then he'll be 70. I'm just being funny. The thing is, let the man in the next 5 years, don't bother the man so much. There's so much to be done. Okay? He has done in 5 years what is impossible. The great America hasn't done that. Donald Trump himself say a 5-kilometer road takes like a whole year to build. He himself said it. Now he's trying to change that he'll do it in a few days. Come on, man. Let us be thankful to the Chinese, the Indians from India, the Chinese from China, the Europeans, all those people who have come into Guyana, invested, put their hands together, and are helping that country build its infrastructure. Let's be grateful to them. Let's provide them with the security that they deserve. Look how far we are now. We can go further. I want the day to come when I don't have to humiliate myself any fucking more at any American embassy to get an American visa. I want the day to come when that would end. And that can only end in the next 5 years of Ali, where the Americans, I think it would be under Donald Trump, would say no more visa requirement for Guyanese citizens. That will happen. Won't you be proud of that? Of course you would be. And when there is no visa requirement, Guyanese would not want to leave. So what? It's free now? I don't want to go. The fact that you have to get a visa, some Guyanese are like, America. But remove the visa stuff and see how much Guyanese wants to go there. They don't want to go. When it's free, nobody wants to go. When it's paying, then they want the stress of paying. I don't like paying for stuff. I don't. I need stuff, good quality stuff, you know. Like I said, I'm Indo-Guyanese. I identify as Indo-Guyanese. So if I identify as Indian, it means that I don't like paying for stuff. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that all Indians are greedy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I am as Indian. You understand what I mean here, okay? Don't you? Anyway, today's Thursday. Please put your mind at ease. Plan your schedule for Monday. There will be an election with or without the PNC and their associates. There will be an election. And the Guyana Police Force need to let the people know that they are not racial or racist and they don't work for the PNC anymore. They need to get that message out. They work for the Guyanese people. And on elections day, they'll be out there with their guns and their dogs to catch any criminal that wants to intimidate anyone. They already made it clear. And I've said to you, if you love your sons, Afro-Guyanese mothers, you see, I'm not saying niggers. I'm not saying Negroes. I'm being respectful to the decent people in Guyana. Afro-Guyanese mothers, if you love your sons, some of them are idiots, but tell them, hey, Aubrey Norton ain't worth it. Azruddin Mohammed definitely ain't worth it. Go out and vote. When you're done, get the fuck home and stay. And you can watch the rest on TikTok or YouTube. Tell them that. You need them to live another day. You need them to be able to drive you, the mothers, over that Irfan Ali River Bridge. You need them to drive you across the bridge. If they're dead, they can't drive you. And they won't be in jail. They'll be dead. So let them know they need to behave, be respectful, go cast their votes, and get the fuck home. Don't fight no battles for Mohammed or Norton anymore. Because you, the mothers, will lose. If you don't love your children, I get it. You made them, you raised them, I get it. But I'm saying that they can contribute towards Guyana's development. Because Guyana need laborers, you need, people and stuff, and keep them alive. This is Dr. Love Prasad saying, remember your support is necessary. Your financial support is necessary. Or do you want me to start taking blood money? No, I can't do that. I need your support. Contact me via the number on my profile there. Send me a text, say, Doc, I want to support you. I'll tell you how to do that. But do it soon. Because the fight must continue. This struggle is real. But our president and his team, they got our backs as Guyanese. Until next time. Bye now.